It's coming down hard right now. Maybe something like fell from a tree. Oh, I was having such a nice dream. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, I have to. No, I got all the damn snow in. Coincidence, right? I tell myself it's just a massive coincidence, and that's what I'm experiencing and hearing, and shit. It truly does come to a point where I fucking question my sanity and question why I'm even here, though, to begin with. I swear to God, I don't know why I'm doing this. Good night, guys. It's the snow out of here, too. Scream. That was a pink scream. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, alright.
Google still tracks you in incognito mode. Use DuckDuckGo, a real private browser. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't track your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading.
That's a solid intro, bro. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? If you guys are excited for this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Oh, something over there. Something is definitely over there. Raptor, keep me safe. Raptor, keep me safe. You got that, bro. Check it out. I mean, oh shit, Chris. What? This is a trail. Is it? Yeah. I don't have trail supplies.
There's a lonely corner of Union County, Pennsylvania, where the past refuses to rest. Buried beneath rows of concrete domes and overgrown paths, a ghost town named Elvira lingers, a place seized by the government in wartime haste, abandoned almost as quickly as it was claimed. The few who wander among these silent bunkers speak of whispers in the dark and footprints that can't be explained. They say the very air feels charged, as though someone, never truly left. Now, we venture into the shadows of Elvira to find out what stories remain hidden in those crumbling and why so many are afraid to look too closely. Step into the abyss, and welcome to Weird Encounters, a place where the ordinary fades into shadow and the unexplainable comes alive. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and join our ever-growing community of the curious. Your support is the lifeblood that keeps this channel alive. Places across Pennsylvania for years, especially where there's a hint of both military history and lingering spirits. Nothing has unsettled me quite like my recent experience at the abandoned Elvira bunkers in Union County. This was late last fall, sometime in November, after the leaves had mostly dropped, and the air was thick with that musty, rotting foliage smell you get out in the woods. You probably already know the backstory, but I'll restate it for anyone reading. Vira was a small village until the government seized it in 1942 for the Pennsylvania Ordnance Works. They built a bunch of TNT bunkers and storage facilities out there. Less than a year later, they up and abandoned the project, leaving behind a patchwork of concrete igloos and an entire ghost town beneath. A handful of the bunkers are now on state game lands, and you can still see them if you wander off the beaten path. Locals talk about weird echoes in the area. Some say it's the voices of displaced families. Others say it's just the wind in those hollow structures. I'd been out that way a few times before. Usually, I'd just explore the outbuildings, take pictures of the bunkers. They look like concrete domes popping out of the ground. Then head back to my car. Nothing particularly spooky ever happened, though there's a certain heaviness in the air. But on this specific afternoon, I decided to go deeper along one of the less trodden trails near the fenced-off bunkers. I remember noticing an odd hush that fell over the area. No birds, no rustling squirrels, nothing. It was the kind of silence that almost feels deliberate. As I walked, I started to smell something chemical, which I assumed might be leftover residue or seepage from whatever they used to manufacture TNT. People have warned me before about possible ground contamination, but the odor was too fresh, like a sharp tang in my nose. I had this urge to keep going, thinking maybe I'd see some official sign or locked gate. Instead, I spotted a bunker door that looked like it had been forced open. It was slightly ajar, with rusted hinges that probably hadn't been touched in decades. Being my curious self, I peered in. That's when I heard what I can only describe as a low hum coming from deeper in the bunker. The inside was mostly dark, but the sunlight from the entrance was enough to see dust swirling around. At first, I thought maybe it was my own blood rushing in my ears. Sometimes you can psych yourself out like that. Then the hum became more of a pulsing sound, like an electrical device warming up. It was rhythmic, and it made the hair on my arms stand up. I got spooked and decided maybe it was best not to step inside. I turned around, and suddenly that chemical smell vanished, replaced by the distinct scent of ozone, like the air after a lightning strike. I stood there, torn between curiosity and an overwhelming sense of being watched. I started glancing around, scanning the tree line. Nothing. No sign of any person or animal. Then out of nowhere, I noticed a faint glow coming from the side of the bunker. It wasn't direct light, more like a shimmering effect, almost like heat waves you see rising off pavement in the summer. It was so subtle that I questioned if my eyes were playing tricks. But as I stared, it moved. Or rather, it seemed to shift location to the opposite side of the bunker entrance. That's when I got a weird mental image, like something crawling across the air itself. I know how crazy that sounds. At this point, I started to back away, feeling a knot tightening in my gut. Then I heard a soft voice, almost like a whisper on the wind, except I knew it wasn't the wind. It was indecipherable, but definitely human-like. I froze, listening. My mind went straight to the stories I'd heard. that old farmland families still roam there in spirit form, or that maybe some leftover guard or worker's ghost is stuck on watch. But this didn't feel entirely like a standard haunting. There was something else. The pulsing hum, the ozone smell. It reminded me more of stories you'd hear about possible government experiments, or that weird interdimensional stuff you hear rumors about near old military sites. I decided I had to at least look back inside that bunker. I pointed my flashlight in, the hum just cut off abruptly, like someone flipped a switch. Dust was still swirling. I took 2 steps in, shining the light around. Concrete walls, old metal debris, nothing unusual, until I noticed footprints in the dust. They weren't boot prints. They looked more elongated, with a narrow heel and weird spacing between the toes. It's possible they were just old footprints distorted by time and dust, but it sure gave me the creeps. As soon as I saw them, the hair on my neck bristled again, like something was right behind me. I swung around, expecting to see a raccoon or another explorer. Nothing. Not a trace of movement. A few years back, I bumped into a local at a diner in Allenwood, not far from the federal penitentiary. He mentioned that some bunkers in the Elvira area were rumored to have deeper, sub-level chambers, places that never got documented. He claimed to have worked as a surveyor in the 1970s and said the official maps don't match up with the actual labyrinth of tunnels out there. He even hinted that some of these spaces might still be in use by certain factions of the government. I brushed it off as small-town conspiracy talk at the time, but standing there, seeing those bizarre footprints and feeling that oppressive presence, I couldn't help recalling his words. Anyway, I didn't linger. I left the bunker in a hurry. As I stepped outside, that shimmering glow was gone. The woods were still unnervingly silent. I hurried down the trail, half expecting that humming to start up again. My heart was thumping so loud I could practically hear it echo. About halfway back to my car, I heard a sudden rustle in the brush. Thought maybe it was a deer or a groundhog, but it sounded heavier. It paused, scanning the area, and for a split second, I saw what looked like a figure standing behind the trunk of a large oak. It was only visible from the waist up, pale and elongated. It moved like it was peeking out at me. I blinked, and it vanished behind the tree. I was too freaked to investigate further. I made it back to my car, which I'd parked near a gravel pull-off by an overgrown dirt road. As I was unlocking the door, an older pickup truck passed by, driving real slow. The driver gave me a look like he either recognized I was spooked or he was suspicious of my presence. I got the sense he was local, maybe checking to see if I was up to no good. I got in, started the engine, and didn't relax until I was miles away, heading toward Lewisburg. That night, I had the strangest dreams, flashing images of those footprints in the dust, and that shimmering distortion. I woke up convinced there's something more than just old bunkers and haunted farmland out there. Maybe it's tied to the land forcibly taken from the people of Elvira. Maybe it's leftover energy from the TNT manufacturing, or perhaps it's something else entirely, like an interdimensional glitch or a secret experiment that never got fully shut down. I've been reading up on the area's history since, and the official record is always the same. The U.S. government built the Pennsylvania Ordnance Works, forced everyone out, and left it to rot after the war effort shifted. But I wonder if they really abandoned all of it. Some bunkers are accessible, sure, but who knows what hidden passages or older tunnels remain sealed off. And that local story about inaccurate maps keeps nagging at me. Whatever I encountered might not be a traditional haunting or cryptid in the usual sense. The best way I can describe it is a presence, part electrical, part spiritual, and definitely not something I'd want to meet again alone. I'm sharing this in the hope that others who've been out to Elvira and experienced similar things will come forward. If you do, I'd love to compare notes. There's a lot of rumors swirling around these bunkers. Some say it's a hotbed of paranormal and government secrets. After what I saw and felt, I can't say I disagree. Thank you to all the Weird Encounter subscribers. This recently came in from one of our listeners, and they asked if I could share it with you all. So here it goes. I've been debating whether to share this for a long time. A friend mentioned your YouTube channel, and I realized your viewers might be interested in what I experienced. Honestly, I'm still not sure how to process it all, but here goes. Feel free to share if you think it helps anyone who's gone through something similar. I grew up near Mont Alto in Franklin County, Pennsylvania. The area around the Michaud State Forest was basically our backyard. My parents used to take me on drives up Route 233 toward Caledonia State Park, sometimes just for scenic rides, other times to do a little hiking. I'm mentioning that because my earliest memory of oddness goes all the way back to around 1999 when I was about 10. The memory is strange, but I'll try my best to recall it accurately. We were coming back from a late afternoon picnic at Mont Alto State Park. This was after my dad had finished his shift at the Letterkenny Army Depot. He worked maintenance there. We were driving along a narrow section of the road that cuts through the forest. I'm half dozing in the back seat, overhearing my parents have one of those hush-hush conversations about some pesting rumored to be happening in the area. My dad said something like he'd been warned not to bring it up with anyone. My mom mentioned weird lights people saw in the sky. Both of them just kind of shrugged it off as government stuff. And that's when I looked out the window and saw something. Even back then, I had no vocabulary for it. It wasn't Bigfoot. It wasn't a bear. Something was crouched by a tree, and I remember it looked sickly pale. The headlights just barely illuminated it for a second before we drove on. My parents never commented, so I stayed quiet, thinking maybe it was just my imagination or the lighting. I tried talking to Dad about it maybe a year before he passed. He got real cagey, just said he wasn't supposed to talk about things that happened at Letterkenny. I found that weird because it's an army depot primarily dealing with munitions and vehicles. Why would it be connected to anything I saw in the woods? But he always had these small hints he'd drop, like overhearing out-of-place conversations from men in black suits, or rumors about biotesting. I brushed it off as tall tales. It was only when I was older that I realized there's a lot more going on in that area than people think. And then, a few years back, I had a direct encounter, somewhere between Mont Alto and the intersection of Route 997. That's what I really wanted to talk about. It happened in early August 2018, after I came home to visit my mom. She'd been feeling lonely since Dad passed. One evening, I decided to take a drive into the forest. I do that sometimes to clear my head. There's a dirt path off of Old Route 30 that eventually loops back. It's not very well traveled. If you're unsure or unaware of your eyeglass prescription, or if your prescription changes frequently due to nearsightedness or farsightedness, ever been in that area, you know how quiet it can get once you're off the main roads. No street lights, just a canopy of trees overhead. So, I pull over at a small clearing because I needed to get some air and maybe snap a few pictures of the scenery. I'm an amateur photographer. I'm standing there, adjusting my camera, and I hear something that sounds like branches snapping. At first, I thought it might be deer. We have a ton of them around. But then, snapping continued in a slow, deliberate way, like something heavy breaking branches as it moved. The weird part is that it sounded close, but I couldn't see anything. I tried turning around to see if maybe a black bear was rummaging behind me. That's when I caught a glimpse of what looked like a tall, lanky figure. It must have been around 7 feet, extremely thin, and it moved in a really awkward way, almost like it was scuttling, if that makes sense. I couldn't make out details on the face, just a pale form with limbs that seemed too long. I froze. I'm not the type to get startled easily, but the hair on the back of my neck stood up like a lightning rod. I decided to inch closer to my car, but I didn't want to make any sudden moves. My heart was racing, but at the same time, I felt this bizarre sense of calm, like I was watching a film instead of living it. Then I heard a low vocalization, like a guttural grunt that you might attribute to a big animal, but not quite. It almost had a stuttering quality to it, like it was trying to form words but was physically incapable of it. That's when I realized this was not a bear, not a deer, and definitely not a person playing a prank. It just seemed too unnatural. I was rattled, though, so I headed back home. Mom asked me why I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I almost told her everything right then, but she'd been through enough. I think she would have either brushed it off or worried that I was becoming obsessed with the same hush hush stuff Dad used to mention. I guess I kept it to myself to keep her from getting anxious. A week later, I mentioned a vague version of the story to an old high school friend. He's a local park ranger now near Cowan's Gap. He told me there have been multiple unexplained sightings around that region. He also said there are rumors of a restricted area in the forest where odd samples are collected, supposedly connected to the local military installations. He didn't confirm it directly. The look in his eyes said a lot. Here's a tangent, but I think it might be relevant. Over the years, folks have reported weird lights in the sky near Caledonia State Park, especially above the ridge heading towards Gettysburg. Some blame it on flight paths from Harrisburg International or even Raven Rock Mountain Complex Site R near the Maryland border. But there's a persistent rumor around here that these are not conventional aircraft, that some might be drones or even something more unconventional. Considering the weird helicopter that buzzed me that night, I think there might be some truth to the rumors. There's a sense that they're patrolling, maybe ensuring no one gets too close to whatever roams those woods. The part that really sits with me is the possible government connection. My dad's cryptic references, that sudden helicopter flyover, it feels like more than coincidence. One of my coworkers, who used to work security at Letterkenny, hinted there were subterranean facilities that go way beyond normal storage bunkers. He's not a dramatic person, so it freaked me out to see him get so tight-lipped about it. This all lines up with that sense I've had for years. There's something going on in the Mont Alto Caledonia area they really don't want the public to know about, whether it's experimental technology or something otherworldly. If I'm being honest, I sometimes worry for my own safety, even just sending an email like this. I know that sounds paranoid, but there's a real sense of tension around here when you bring up these stories. It's not exactly something you talk about at the local diner in Chambersburg unless you want folks to give you the side eye. Even so, I feel this need to get it off my chest. Maybe others have had similar encounters and feel the same kind of confusion. I'm not claiming it was an alien or a cryptid or some military experiment gone wrong. All I know is that it was a living thing, not a common species, and it seemed to respond to that helicopter. Something is out there. And given all the talk of hush hush operations, it might just be that the government, or a segment of it, knows more than they're letting on. I don't have physical proof, no pictures, no footprints. But I can't shake the memory of that pale, lanky figure and the feeling that I was trespassing in some place I shouldn't have been. Part of me wants to go back, but another part of me doesn't want to risk stumbling into something I can't handle. If you decide to share this on your YouTube channel, please keep my name and exact location anonymous. I just wanted to get the story out there for anyone else who's encountered similar phenomena and feels alone in it. Let's just say Pennsylvania's forests still hold a lot of secrets, and I'm not sure we're meant to uncover them. My dear watchers, your presence is a...
This is weird, bro. I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania, yeah. Like,
I have trail supplies with me, like a flashlight. Good thing I have one right here. Um, I'm gonna just say, guys, we've already been in this forest for a couple hours so far, and we've experienced some horrifying things. Chris, you mind pulling the camera? We don't have to go far. I kind of want to check this out because, like, if need be, we could go in here later tonight. I've well, this is random. Oh shit. Okay. Uh, look at those markers on the trees up there.
Yeah, calling up.
These are fresh, bro.
And we just heard something moving in here.
Yeah, there's a lot moving, bro.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you some of the things that happened earlier in the night because from the moment we got here, things started off on a very high note. We actually split up for about 30 minutes. Horrible idea, by the way. So I'm gonna play that for you guys. Oh, oh, oops. Ow, ow.
Yep, right, yes, yep.
Yep, okay.
Let's go. Keep it moving.
Yeah, anywho, I'm gonna play that footage for you guys here first. I'll take a look at that. We have the gun in the truck. Everything is good in here. Hell, we might even sleep in here tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna show you what this forest has to offer. Satanic rituals, the deaths, everything, the stories about this place. Let's rewind the footage back and show you what happened earlier. Make sure to watch my friend Chris's video as well over on his channel because we're filming two completely separate videos and I would not be here without him. So thank you, brother. Thank you. And much love, everybody. Hope you enjoy. All right, guys. So here we are in the forest. We just pulled up to a trail. Now, we wanted to make the most out of our time because the sun is currently setting, and we probably should have done this like a good half hour ago or something. But we're going to split up for a bit. I know how stupid that sounds, but we want to cover as much ground as possible, get as much footage as we can for you guys. Now, we have all of our camping stuff in here. Oh,
A lot of that.
yeah. It sounds like something's moving over there.
Right.
Well, I want to go check down this trail over here. Chris was mentioning that he was going to go somewhere down trail.
I'm just gonna go wherever you're not going. Cover opposite grounds. I mean, you've said some really weird things have happened in this forest, so I figured if we can figure out where it's happening, why it's happening, when it's happening, it's over here, right?
Yeah. Good point. People have said online that they've stumbled across actual satanic ritual sites in this forest. Like people have come across carcasses, animal carcasses, and like candles around it, and all these strange items. Now, I'm not a satanic ritual expert. I'm not sure what this is supposed to look like.
You're not a demonologist?
No, believe it or not. But I really don't want to stumble across that. But I'm very curious because they also claim that this forest is super haunted. So many things to really touch up on tonight. So
Yeah, I think one of the best things about this time of year too is that, like we just heard, you can hear when things are actually walking around. You can hear the crunching and the walking. So it makes me feel a little safer.
Rated E
knowing
for
that we're not
everyone.
gonna get like creeped up on.
yes,
You can't really hide in this forest without being heard.
yes, exactly. And the best part is we have our guns tonight. So
And if those deer want to play, I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately, so I'll suplex.
here, wrestle a deer.
deer.
What about a bear? What's
I
that?
watched like one highlight reel on YouTube. That might be kind of fun, honestly.
Okay. Sure, that was a whistle.
What do you want to do?
Well, I said I was going down here, so let me
That's pretty
close this up. Do you need anything from here?
Maybe like diaper.
I don't think we have that in here, but
No.
did everything I needed to do. But I figured still film tonight. I'm on some good medication at the moment, so I'm not feeling it too much. Plus adrenaline, so. All right, anywho,
Super cool.
super cool. I'm gonna fire up my Spear Talker. You said you had a new app you were gonna run today?
Yeah, I believe it's called SPI. I don't know a ton about it. I just know that the guy who made it, his name is Don Austin, I believe. He was on that 28 days. So no, not sober. 28 days. Wanted. I remember it's not that big. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't know I'm using it. I don't know if he's okay with me using it, but we're gonna. It just released today on the App Store. It's like $15. But I tried it at home. It uses AI, which is cool.
Okay.
Like I was getting like legit answers at home in my basement. I was like, "What?"
Okay, so would you mind if we try that tonight too, like together?
Test it out right now.
Oh.
Try it tonight.
Yeah, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Guys, you're gonna have to watch Chris's video to see how that goes. And then we'll use it later on in my video too. So, literally sounds like there's something walking right there. But you said you're going where I'm not, so that looks like that's your spot.
We were going that way, so I'll go like somewhere down there.
All right, good luck, bro.
The road looks like crap.
So, okay, what? 15 minutes?
Probably.
Okay,
If not, I'm dead.
it was nice to know you.
Back to the dead.
No, you're good, bro. Don't say that. Good luck, man. So we're gonna go down here. I don't know what to expect. The leaves crunching is very loud. I apologize for that, but I just love this time of the year because if I can hear myself, Then that means I could hear things around me too. Is there anybody here that likes to communicate? What? He said something moved over there as soon as I said hello.
Grandmother.
Spirit box said grandmother. Um, Chris? What was that?
What?
You didn't hear that? Oh, okay, it was you. Yeah, sorry. No, you're good, you're good. Wow, this trail goes on for a very long time. All right. So, um, grandmother, is there anything that you can share with me about these satanic rituals that are alleged to go on here? I'm gonna try savoring my flashlight as much as I can, guys. So, now, I don't know. I was right back at the truck. I'm one that's like, I don't want to see it to believe it, but when you hear all these crazy stories about this place, you're kind of like, okay. Oh. All right, so Chris is all the way up there. Grandmother, is there anything you want to share with me about this place?
Many died here.
Oh, sorry, I got excited for a second. That's very sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Um, this is a forest. Why did many people die here? Is it true what they say? Hello, guys. Listen. There's something right in front of me right now. There's something moving in front of me. Who's there? Hello.
Halt.
Halt. Let me pull my flashlight out. Better be no halt. Guys, it's a Monday. Halts don't operate on Mondays. Come on now. Right? Okay. That was right behind me. I'm gonna go all the way down because why the hell not? Now, the worst part about all of this is you guys know me. I run a lot, and can't right now. That sounded very close. That sounded very close. Okay. Hello, is there anybody here that wants to communicate with me? Guys?
I am right behind you.
Who's there? No! That was a scream. That was a scream. Who's right behind me?
Satanic.
Shut up. What is going on right now? What is going on right now? What are these responses? What are these responses right now? Okay. What's so satanic about this forest? Can you clarify that for me? Where the hell did that scream come from? I say what? That did not sound like Chris, so there's that. Halt again. Okay, I said what's so satanic about this forest? That makes a lot of sense. Um, is the cult here right now? What are some of the things that this cult did in this forest? Can you clarify that? The cult do bad things in this forest?
Blood sacrifice.
Blood sacrifice. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. I'm gonna. The responses right now are crazy, but I'm gonna fire a necrometer right now. This way, I feel like we're getting a lot of very on point responses. But I wanna. Is there anybody here that wants to communicate with me? Any names? Awful. Did really bad things happen here? I just realized there's like no leaves here. Huh.
Phenomena.
Phenomena. It's like phenomena. There's no leaves here, huh? I'm gonna switch hands quick, guys. My camera's very heavy. People often ask why I have like fucking these responses right now. These responses right now are so pinpoint accurate to the story of this forest. This is what makes me believe like these forests really. No, do not give me a visual. I'm not. I don't want to see a corpse, guys. Respectfully, not tonight. Not ever. So we have a fork in the road here. Whoop. Whoop. Cat. We'll sacrifice this. Shit. Holy cats. What is that? You're like crying. Howling. That's either one of two things. Coyotes or mountain lion. If it's coyotes, I'm not too worried about it. We have our guns. If need be, I'm not gonna straight up shoot at them. I'll shoot towards them so they fuck off. But if it's mountain lion, it's me or the mountain lion. Respectfully, leave soon. I'm gonna start heading back. Maybe we could.
You can save a fortune up to 75% off all but the minor carpet, laminate, hardwood. There's only a few requirements. You must own your home, and you must. Doesn't that yeah. It's, I think people live in shock. Well,